Welcome back to Speaking with Gravity, where we talk about mental health awareness, and how everything affects everything. And right now, at this very moment, you are connected to 4 therapists, and I'm gonna allow them to introduce themselves. But me first. I'm Kervin. I work here in Greenwood with Gravity Counseling Group.
I'm Sherika. I actually work alongside Kervin down in Greenwood at Gravity Counseling Group.
And my name is Shameka Chanel. I'm the clinical director of Points of Origin Counseling in Greenville.
Terance Dawkins, Spartanburg, South Carolina, Missing Pieces Counseling Services.
And today we are talking about, for more or less, somatic therapy. I know a little bit about it, not a lot. And so I had to bring in an expert. Now, Shameka, you told us, before I even go ahead and go into the episode, you told us that you was in Greenville, I believe, and
Yes.
you gave, but you didn't do your just due. Tell us about you and who you are, your expertise, your specializations. Give us a little bit more insight into the person that we're going to be diving into this topic with.
Expertise, that's
Expertise.
the focus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a good old Kansas girl, so I enjoyed riding through Greenwood this morning. So I'd like to start with that.
Okay.
My expertise started, I'd like to say from the womb, but definitely from being a young one and being aware of my body and connecting, even as a child, the fact that many were not connected to their body and were subsequently missing a lot of information. And so I spent the majority of my life kind of exploring that concept, because it gave me a difficult time as a child, being so aware and realizing that so many people in the world were not. And so a lot of the work that I do has really kind of woven in that curiosity from childhood and trying to help people not only connect to their body, that's how I happen to pound somatics, but also their identity and how their perception of identity is expressed and even disconnected in how they're communicating themselves throughout their life, and even engaging people and making difficult time with connections and self-expression. So in a nutshell, the majority of what I do is woven from childhood all the way through me noticing the disconnect and even experiences in my life where I become aware that maybe I had other parts of me that had not been yet connected.
Gotcha. So this is a part of the episode where the people write in to Terance, and they tell Terance what they want to know.
Okay.
And then Terance starts the episode off with what the people want to know. Usually it's connected to the episode at hand. So, Terance, what do people want to know?
The people want to know, how does your body typically signal to you that you've reached your limit before your mind is ready to admit it?
That's a lovely question. And as I was reading through this, it crossed my mind that y'all don't necessarily want to know about me. Y'all want to know, what can you connect with in your personal experience within your physical body that might help you get that idea. And a lot of it comes with just really common symptoms and ailments, right? And having that disconnect from that. So, for instance, I remember being in college or being a young adult and having some heavier things on my plate. And I remember leaving work and getting home, but do not remember how I got there, right? And I realized that I was disconnected and dissociated into something that I do every single day, to the point where I no longer have to think about it. Yes, I got home safely, but that disconnect right there is an alarm that you are not only dissociated from your body, but you're likely headed towards burnout, right? But there are also other things, like, for instance, excess weight. Even things in your stomach, right? Having excess weight in your stomach, those are both signals, in part because the parasympathetic nervous system is not able to properly process food, right? So when it's not processing food, you're also not sleeping well, right? You're also holding excess energy and things in your core. Typically is the most common space where it gets stuck with ease, right? So you're also, as a result, very tired, right? Struggling with dissociation or connecting to your daily tasks. So focus is also one of those signs. There are lots of signs, and as I said in response initially to this question, common ailments.
That's dope. I would not have been able to explain that in the way that you did. And I don't even want to mess that up. Terance, do you want to mess that up?
Nope.
Okay, all right.
But I sure do not. But I don't know if it's part of me being a therapist as well. But I followed being a therapist, or even having some of those things show up in my life as well. So I don't know and it could be a combination of both, but I understood and followed every single thing you said like a book. I was like, oh yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Oh yeah, oh
Like I was
yeah,
exposed.
yeah, exactly.
As you were talking, I was
like,
over here felt really exposed. Like I had a mirror in front of me, just talking to me, because I actually had an experience where I was like, I'm just sick, and I could not figure out what it was. And I went to the doctor. They was just like, you're just stressed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was really a shocker because I didn't feel stressed. But my body was telling me that I was.
It's the dissociation. And again, I noticed this like as a kid, as young as like 4 or 6 years old, where I'm like, that does not look smart. Why are you doing that? I can help you get from A to C, and you don't want to listen to me because I'm a kid. And because you also don't see what I see. But I can see it as clear as day. Right? And so it makes sense that so many people are living in this world and they are not able to see themselves, to see the point that, okay, so I really just need to go to sleep tonight. Even though I don't feel tired, maybe I'm disconnected from those actual signs. Let me just give my body what I think it might need. I have an awareness that I only slept 3 hours last night. I have an awareness that I only slept 4 hours for the last 3 days. Some people, the last 6 years, right? Yes. And how can you imagine how dissociated they might be from their bodies if they're only sleeping 4 hours a night, and then they're waking up in the morning and they're just drinking coffee? And it's further deafening their bodies and their ability to understand that I am actually having an experience that I have no connection or awareness to.
do you think that's from like when people go on autopilot? Do you think that's like a survival response?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that so much of science have, created evidence time and time again through research that communicates that it's more of a survival response. And, if you really think about it, if you have given, the body is extremely efficient. It is an intelligent machine. And if you have given yourself orders to get through the day, why would the body not respond in survival to help you get through the day?
Wow.
That's what you told it that you
Wow.
need. So it's showing up for you exactly as you told it to show up. But it's not screaming loud enough to say, hey, what are you feeding me in my support of you?
I got a story about that. So I was on the go at one point. It was like a few years ago. I was on the go. Whether it was wake up, get ready, go to work, after work, go do some private practice stuff, come home, take care of the dogs, get ready for the next day, go to sleep, wake up, do it again, and consistently. And in my mind, it was like, yeah, I'm tired, but I need to do this because I got things I need to pay, financial obligations, all that good stuff. So I decided, I'm just going to go play basketball after I get off work today because I don't have no clients. So I went to go play basketball. We won the first game. Good to go. Second game came. They was like, hey, Terance, you got to guard this guy. I probably set myself up for what's about to happen next. But
I'm waiting on the story because I feel it coming.
I probably set myself up. But we ain't going to talk about that. He's like, Terance, you got to guard this guy because he can shoot. So in my mind, I said, I'm going to lock him down. So he gets the ball. He comes up the court. I go to push off to go play defense, and it felt like somebody kicked me in the back of the leg, like hard. And I got mad real quick because I was like, who kicked me in the back of my leg? Then I looked back, and it was nobody behind me. I said, I know I didn't do what I think I just did. Needless to say, I tore my Achilles tendon. Non-contact, but still, I was pushed off of it. It just tore. But in my mind, it's like what we were talking about. The body will tell you when it's time to take a break. So my body was telling me, Terance, you're tired. You've been doing too much. But I was like, no, I'm going to go do this, and I'm going to go play basketball because that was my break, my rest. But no, I kept pushing my body to the point that it just said, okay, sit down. And I'll sit down for months after that.
That's the scream.
Yes. Yes.
And, I want to go so many ways with that, but when we talk about load management when it comes down to basketball, you think that's a part of it? Like these guys are practicing nonstop. They just need to sit down sometimes and just rest, and then we wouldn't have so many injuries, so to speak. Okay. You mentioned at 4 and 6, you knowing this, you seeing things, right? And you also mentioned people not necessarily wanting to hear you because you're 4 or 6. How do you deal with that? Do you just keep that to yourself up until you get this piece of paper to say that I can now share this with people, or like how do you?
That was not my experience.
I didn't think it was.
Well, how do you deal with that?
I responded about like his Achilles tendon. I started shouting.
Okay.
I started shouting, but that also was mirrored with isolation.
What do you mean? Just
I found
people-
myself in my room
Okay.
creating my own world because you're not going to tell me that what I know to be true is not true and it doesn't exist. Right? So if you don't see it and my words and my actions are not helping you, first off, there are options for me to try and maybe learn a different language to communicate to you what I'm clearly seeing. Like I was seeing it like, an experiment. The A is always A. The B is always B. Why do you not see A as A and B as B? It's always the same. And so I found myself in trouble often. And my mother would tell you she spanked me more than any of her other kids. But it's because I was that Achilles tendon. I was shouting. Right? I'm saying, hey, I see it. Make my life easier by doing something with what I see. Right? But on the flip side, the isolation was, I'm going to make this world beautiful. Because the A, B, and the C that I see, they are workable. This is workable material. So what can I create from that? So I knew at the age of 12, I have a journal at home where I wrote what I wanted to do for a career. I knew already that I was going to be a clinician because I wanted to learn the language to help people see what I was seeing at 4 and 6 as clear as day.
So you go into college already knowing that.
Yeah.
Wow.
My struggle in college of the not knowing part is they told me that I have to be mindful of being somebody else too. I said, I just want to be a therapist. What do you mean? Oh, ma'am, you need a minor or a double major. So I danced there, but it was always psychology.
Wow. Where did you go?
I went to Virginia State first year.
Okay.
And then I ended up at UNC Charlotte.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So we usually do a QD at an hour, and just to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying earlier, the research shows that up to 20 to 33%, I don't know why I couldn't get that out of my mouth. The research shows that up to 20 to 33% of primary care patients have physical symptoms directly linked to psychological distress rather than a specific injury. And so today we're the title is The Body Receipts. How would you define how you say that? Somatization? Is that how you say it? How you say that?
Somatization is a word, yes.
How would you divide it?
So I'm looking at what you have here, and for me, that particular word is more like the process of understanding and embodying the somatic energy. And so I say energy because I speak in energy a good bit. Like I am classically clinically trained, but I also do a lot of energy work. So you'll hear me kind of dance between the two worlds during our conversation today. But for me, the somatization is really talking about how the language in the fascia, so the muscular connection to the actual bones, and how is that expressing in sometimes pain in our physical world as far as how are we engaging with people. Because, for instance, you can have a somatic expression show up when you walk into a room and not understand the energy exchange that just happened, and your body will freeze as a result of you encountering or seeing someone else. That is an automatic response. But what most people don't actually do is learn the language of communication between that fascia and the cognitive piece. So for me, the somatization is all of that language in that world of communication that is stored in that muscular tissue that is touching the bones.
How do you learn that language then? Just through therapy?
Isolation.
Or being still, being by yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
And so it takes me back to that question that you asked me about when I was 4 and 6 and what did I do with it then. One of the beautiful things about isolation is when you know what you know, we're no longer arguing with people about it. It's now a fact. But if you were spending time with other people while you were working to process this very intricate and intimate language, do you not think that their energy and their conversation and how they're responding and reacting to what you're saying is going to murk up this language that is very intimate and kind of fragile to some extent while you're learning it? Right? So isolation, that's one of the reasons why it's showing up this way for these people. They're not sitting alone. They are constantly helping other people. They're constantly surrounding themselves with other people. And those people are murking up their waters while they're trying to constantly clear it and get self-clarity.
So when you say isolation, are you meaning literal isolation?
To some extent, absolutely.
Okay, and is it different for every person, or?
Oh, there should always be a combination of literal isolation as well as like a shared experience. So I think part of what I'm hearing you kind of toying with is the sitting still part. And the sitting still part is piece of it, right? Because we're doing that right now, and our fascia is actually actively updating simply because my conversation is helping you tap into your body, right? So your language is updating in real time right now. So you can do that in connection with people, but we are sitting still. When you go home and you start to process this conversation, it'll go even deeper into your fascia and do the work there.
So this understanding from your end was as early as 4 or 6.
Yeah.
What do school do for you? 'Cause it's, I'm listening to you. I'm like, I don't think no professors gave you that.
No.
But or do they give you anything?
No.
Are they able to, I guess, enhance in any way?
So the school did the research for me.
Okay.
So I don't need the scientific piece of it. But life is beyond science, right? Science is just a portion of it. We have experiences as well. So the experiential piece is a lot of what happens in that pure isolation when you are by yourself. The school will teach you things like, one of my favorite classes was abnormal psychology. All right. I also really enjoyed psychopharmacology, and I think psychopharmacology was my very first class in my master's program. And unfortunately, I realized that not everybody is taught abnormal in psychopharmacology, right? And then I also really enjoyed, it may have been gerontology as well. And then there was another one where we studied, I cannot think of the name of this right now. I did this one at UNC Charlotte, but we talked a good bit about the neurotransmitters. So those are the classes that I would say in the psychology world, educationally wise, prepared me for what I do now. But one of the things that I find, to your point, is when I am supporting LPCAs for their licensure or doing, providing supervision for master's level interns, they're not coming in prepared because they are already heavily disconnected from their bodies. And so our program is actually helping the interns to connect to their bodies so they can do something with what they've been taught.
Yes.
Tell you, boy, this stuff make you sit here and be like, oh my God.
Yes.
But it makes a lot of sense. I like so when you say, I think about the isolation, right? And some people would say in the world of psychology that, isolation isn't good. You shouldn't isolate yourself. You should be social, engaged, and active. Because if you isolate, then you can go down the spiral, and that can impact your mental health. What would you say to that?
How did that feel saying that?
How did that feel? We ain't this session, baby.
I asked for a reason.
No, I'm just messing with you. No, it's just more so because the reason I bring it up and even say it like that is because I think about what you said, and I think about how you put it. How the isolation helps you connect with the body. The isolation helps you, reset, reframe, and all that good stuff, right? And then I look at it as I look at the opposite way of isolation can cause you to, spiral, do all that stuff. But then it's kind of like, when I'm thinking about it, it's kind of like, is society trying to keep us from connecting with our bodies. So now I start asking questions now. So I'm becoming, again, the word is that we said in previous episodes, I'm becoming curious now to really try to figure out isolation, how does it connect?
Yeah.
Where, is there supposed to be a balance between it? Is there a reason why this is what we're taught versus this is how it should be type thing? So I don't know.
Before you answer, I was thinking along those same lines, because when I was asking you about isolation, I just wanted clarity. Because I am one of those therapists that's like, hey, you got to be careful about isolation, but I'm relating it to when we went back to COVID and everybody was, you had time.
Yeah.
Now,
I enjoyed COVID.
I did to some degree, I did too.
I enjoyed the whole thing.
Yeah. But to just to kind of piggyback off of what Terance was saying, how do you speak to that? In my mind, the way I process it was, even though with the isolation, just putting time around it, or parameters around, hey, I'm only going to do this for this period of time. I don't know. Based on listening to you, it's almost like you can't tell yourself what time to put on it. But that's how I have done it traditionally up
Right.
until this point. So
the latter piece of what you were just saying is definitely the realm that I particularly, personally isolate and oscillate. In part because I do flow, right? So we do Soma Flow twice a month, 3 times a month now. And one of the reasons why I mention that here is if you put a time limit on you, how do you really think that's going to impact your body? You do not know how long it's going to take for you to get to the space where you're able to actually mold yourself into the man you want to be. So if you put a time limit on it, how much of you are you actually missing out on by simply saying, I only have 30 minutes to myself today? It might take you 2 hours to get to the version of yourself that you really, really deeply love.
yeah, it's a lot with that.
Yeah, because all right, because with I think of when you said that, or even when he said put a time frame on that. Sometimes when people teach mindfulness, they say, "Oh, do for 5 minutes, do it for 10 minutes," because you want to be very intentional about what you're doing and be very present in what you're doing, and so even if you get distracted trying to bring yourself back to the present moment, and sometimes from some trainings that I've done, they put time limits on it. Oh, just for 30 minutes, I want you to sit and or they have guided meditations on things. And guess what? Those guided meditations have a time limit on it. So it's kind of like how in my mind I'm trying to figure out how can I stay present if I don't put a time limit on it. How can I stay present, stay focused in the moment, with trying to, I guess, reconnect with my body. If I'm getting sidetracked, if you will.
Curiosity does not kill the cat.
Oh yeah.
That's his word over there.
It actually
He loved that word,
it
curiosity.
does not kill the cat. And one of the reasons why I say that, like you just said, you're leaning into curiosity.
Yes.
Yes, we're talking about several different groups of people and presentations in one portion of the conversation. Because you're absolutely right. There are many of people from a clinical standpoint that we would not want to be in isolation by themselves for any long period of time, because they do not, and those people also are severely disconnected from their body. Right? That's why they're not safe by themselves. Because when the conversation starts, they have no concept or grasp to trust themselves to know where to go, because it can get scary when you go a little deep, right? Because you're living, and to your initial question, we're living. I imagine that most people in this particular room are in their middle ages, right? And so you've lived already 30 years separated from that language. And then when you start the conversation, you have no idea what's in that Pandora's box and or gift. And so you start having this is where the people get distracted, because the first thing comes in and they're like, ooh. Second thing comes in, they're like, oh, no. Third thing comes in and they get scared and they leave. So that's why they give them a 5-minute meditation, because they know most people going to check out and get scared at the third thought. And we don't have time to go into crisis management in a room with 30 people, and they're all going to go 30 different ways. So they give you a time limit for management control. But back to your initial piece, we are systemically dissociated from our bodies from birth, if not while in utero. It's already begun before we are born. So the language itself, when you were actually ripe to learn the language, the world says no. Why are you crying right now? That's not worth crying about. You need to ask before you go in the kitchen and get something out of the refrigerator. That is an ask for disconnect. That is an ask for you to no longer trust your body's signals for hunger. When you push your body and your body's saying, I need rest, and you're saying, no, we got 30 more minutes, we need to get this thing out, your body's saying, okay, I'm no longer going to listen to you because you don't listen to me.
That takes me, see, this is taking me a lot of places now. That
Go with
takes
it.
me to,
Go with it.
you said earlier when you were introducing yourself, you said you learned at a very young age there were different parts of you. Now that one word, parts, reminded me of these different trainings because I'm level 2 trained in IFS. Then when I think of IFS training and when we think about and how they talk about there's different parts and these parts and doing parts work, that kind of, I heard that kind of in some of the language you were speaking just now when you said, some people do meditation for 5 minutes because then when they go inside, they don't know what's inside that box, and then or gift.
Yes, the body starts to react.
Yes, and people when you do like something like EMDR or IFS, and you're going inside your body, and maybe some things come up and your body is responding. Again, you might society or some teachings early on might be like, this is a no-no, or this is scary, this is creepy, or this is, I don't know what this is foreign, let me run from this. And then there goes that disconnection again. We stop becoming curious when things become uncomfortable. Oh, man.
Yes, there's a high tendency. Not everybody does. That's probably part of the way I got here.
Yeah.
Because I like to go into the store.
Yeah.
And that's this other phrase is, getting comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Yes.
Because you're absolutely right. We will remain in pieces and in parts of self if we are not able to stay a little longer in that discomfort. The longer we stay in the discomfort and function in curiosity, that discomfort actually starts to soften along with the fascia in your body. And as the fascia in your body starts to soften, what's actually happening when you're doing somatic work is it's kind of like, let's just think about a substrate material or something like that, like a clay. That's actually a really easy one to make this connection with and paint this picture. Because some clays start off really hard, right? And as you work it, it warms up and it becomes, you can work it for a while to the point where it's stretchable. And you can start to mold it into something. The fascia is the same way, all right? So when we're sitting on 30 years of dissociation, it's just like your body is very hard, almost brick-like. But the more you do somatic work, the more you can actually be responsive versus reactive. Because the body is actually going, the experiences are going to be hitting something and bouncing back versus sticking to you, right? And so you're absolutely right. Parts work will help those pieces to have the conversation together faster and clearly so they're not confused when your pieces of yourself are talking to each other.
Well, you said Soma Flow, y'all do it twice a month?
3 times a month,
Three
yes.
times. And can you explain what that is and what it's about, how you can get involved in it if you want to?
So the Soma Flow, we keep that updated on our website, so pointsoforigin.net/resources is on the resources page. But Soma Flow itself is called Soma Flow Align and Release. And what we do is I actually host this class 3 times a month. Right now we are every other Wednesday, so we'll be in the studio. We were in there this week, so 2 weeks from that, I have the date somewhere around here. And what we do basically, so those dates are May 6th, May 16th, and May 20th at 6 p.m. this month, this coming May. But what we do basically is we help people take that moment to themselves. We're in the studio about 90 minutes, and we're helping them to strengthen that conversation with their body, helping them to release, the somatic imprint, so they can actually function with curiosity and deepen that connection within, with support. I'm also in there doing some energy work because sometimes it comes up. Most people do actually cry, and some people it takes an hour before they're able to get to that deep space. Some of them drop right in, and they're there within 15 minutes, and they're able to actually start to have the answers that their bodies hold come to them in a way that they are able to start to relax that clay. And what typically happens is they stay relaxed for about 3 days, as long as they are actually continuing to do some of the aftercare work. But the work that they do in those 3 days, from the session all the way to that 3 days following, it's just like that A and B. You do not forget, because now you actually have more access to your body and your being of self, and it does not go away.
And do you need to be dealing with anything in per se? You need to have depression, you need to have anxiety to be a part of that, or this is preventive in nature?
It's all the above.
Okay.
It's also maintenance. I'm in there flowing as well, and I do not have diagnosable anxiety or depression, but I'm in there flowing as well. In those particular spaces, my flow is helping to curate the energy. But you absolutely do not have to be diagnosed with anything to be present. We've been doing more positive vibration. So, for instance, lately, one of the things that I've noticed is that not everybody who's coming is diagnosable. However, what they are able to do is curate their energy so they are, again, less reactive, more present in their life. And there are a lot of people that are working to call in like their wholeness of self. And so that's what they're doing. They don't have anything left to dig out, but now they are aiming forward. And they're using the Soma Flow and somatic work to aim forward and create the lives that they actually choose for themselves now versus the ones that the systems have created, projected, or expected of them.
I heard you say, and I don't know if you can or not, but I heard you say reactive, responsive. Mm-hmm. Could you, I guess, elaborate on that? And when I'm asking you to elaborate on it is, Terance, I think you said IFS, EMDR. Sometimes you never know. When people are tuning in, they may be tuning in for the first time. Mm-hmm. And so for someone who's tuning in for the first time and not necessarily aware of those acronyms or the difference between reactive versus responsive, what would you say to that, specifically to that, the difference between being reactive versus being responsive? Because responsive is the goal, right? You want to be responsive versus reactive.
Absolutely. Yeah. And sometimes you don't even want to respond, right? So that personal presence will help you to decipher. Our level of dissociation, connection, attunement, and things like that will help you decide, help your body decide in which direction are you likely to go versus simply being present, so not responding or reacting, being reactive or responsive. So the primary difference, and I'll say it as clearly as I can come up with in this moment, is reactive is without thought. Right? The body does it without you even being present. It's doing it without you. Right? So that oftentimes looks like irritability and, moodiness and being easily triggered. Right? And then the responsive is I am able to actually be curious. I'm able to actually process and be present and have access to the details and the information and decide for myself.
So if they're consistently being reactive, they definitely need to come and connect and do somatic exercises so that they can get back.
Absolutely.
So they need to look at that pattern.
Yes.
Of how am I reacting to people.
Yeah. Soma Flow is designed for release without words. Right? So we can talk all day long. And I might go in a Soma Flow class and come up with a whole story, and now I want to write a whole book. But you might not even know that it was me writing that book. Right? And not only that, I might go into Soma Flow, and from that, I'm creating the next 30 years of my life. I'm creating my legacy. So absolutely, let's move from reactive to responsive. Right? That's when we are responsive and we are connected and not dissociated. That is when we live the lives we want. That is how you know what experiences in your world actually create pleasure, create joy, create happiness, and without a doubt, without conversation, without argument with anyone, not even yourself, you are creating your life around those things.
So what is a good book, workbook that I could I could or any I can suggest to my clients, myself or for anybody who wanted to know more or get more into this? What's a good workbook?
So I'm seeing you looking at my workbook. So I will say the embodied self-reclamation. So that's a 30-day workbook. But I also think about the clinical side, right? Because we do experiential, but we also do clinical. And I don't have a book on that side to recommend, so I'm going to write it.
Okay.
Right? Because what I have found is that there's
Flex,
not.
slight flex.
Write it. I'm
going
gonna
to
do it.
Right? So because I haven't found anything that clearly communicates what I do or what I talk about. And one of the things that I notice is that there is, back to something you mentioned earlier, there is an educational piece that is pushed on the bookshelves, right? And that is very clinical based. But again, clinicians are not typically coming out of their master's programming actually knowing how to help people and how to actually provide therapy. So I'm grateful that internships exist. Because if internships did not exist, we'd made a different world. But to your question, the 30-day, the embodied self-reclamation, that definitely does have some somatic activities in there to support people. It does have some meditation prompts, and it does intentionally have some time frames because there are benefits clinically of saying sit for 10 minutes. Because most people, when they are working to strengthen those muscles, if you do not give them a time frame, they're going to struggle to actually do the work and invest in real time. But if you do give them a time frame, they say, okay, I only have to be here for 10 minutes. I can get through 10 minutes. And then they're able to get to a space where they can flow. So the embodied self-reclamation helps that entire process. It also has some deep spiritual coding in it. And it also has some other things in there, like I fancy CBT, I fancy identity work. So there are prompts in there that integrate all of that as well. There are also some divine feminine prompts to help you choose who is that version of yourself and who can you release as far as past lives in presentations of self, past experiences along that way to help you get there. So I would definitely say that the embodied self-reclamation.
Yeah. I know you booked. Ain't no way you not booked with all you giving us. I hear you kind of speak on time and stuff like that. There will be, in this setting, there would be really no way for you to be able to do like a somatic exercise because it would be time limited. I'm asking. The reason I'm asking is because if somebody is coming to you, like they have to kind of throw the concept of time out the window, out the door.
I like to say that I warp time.
Okay.
I say that because it's one of those questions where it's a yes and no. Like we could tap into like a 5-minute activity and it would not feel like it was 5 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it then. All right. Do we need to stay on camera or you all want to use the room?
Are y'all okay with using the room?
Huh?
Y'all scared?
Well, I don't know what's about to happen. I'm telling you right now. Let's go. Let's do it.
Let's do
Let's
it.
do it.
All right. Well, let's use the room then.
Okay, what we got to do?
So how we
Literally
going?
just find a spot where you can move.
Okay.
Standing up or sitting down? Or?
You can do it however you like. So one of the big things about what I do with Soma Flow is I'm actually not here to tell you what to do. I am here to guide you into deepening into your connection and conversation so you can do that. And you all will likely need some more room, so I'm going to scoot out because what happens if you are too close is you will both have a difficult time actually hearing your own message. Back to the murking of the water. You'll be worried about bumping into her. She'll be feeling your energy. So Terance, if you can, actually, you know what? I'm going to move this chair, and you can stay where you are. And I'm going to come over here.
All right.
I guess I asked for this, didn't I?
You did. You put a little noise. I'll turn on some music. We'll do one song.
Okay.
Let me find something. What kind of energy are y'all feeling?
It don't matter. I got a Bluetooth. You can tell me what to put.
All right, let me find it.
I don't know if they're gonna beat this out.
Well, let me move to a different playlist. And I'll see if I can find something that they're not likely to.
We might have to cut this up a little bit depending on the audio on it.
All right, we don't have a lot of time, so let's do this one. You want to do Bluetooth, or are you cool with me playing it here?
You play with that.
All right. So I'm going to give you all a deeper ancestral one. And the reason I'm going to do that is because it'll help you get a clearer picture on exactly what I'm talking about as far as not quite clinical, right? This is not what you're going to learn in school. You can use the wall, that's perfectly fine. But what you want to do is to start, you can close your eyes. Go ahead and start breathing and getting a feel of the room. Breathe nice and deep, nice and slow. Pay attention to your body and any sensations you may be sensing in your body. Feel your air going through your body. You can feel it as it flows into your nose. Take a nice deep breath, nice and slow. You want to focus on each breath being longer than the last as you work to fill your body with oxygen. I'm going to ask that you imagine a gust of air coming into the crown of your head and flowing over the course of your body nice and slow, picking up any information that it may be able to access as it courses all the way out through your toes. And inhale as that air comes back into the crown of your head, breathing nice and slow, nice and deep. This time as that air comes to the crown of your head, intentionally make it move over your body even slower than the last, paying attention to any tension or sensations you may sense in your body. Be curious. Pay attention to any words that might come up. We're going to sit here for a little while as you intentionally focus on that breath. And I also am going to ask you to use your body. Move it, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, stretch out your arms, open up that chest. Consider swiveling your hips. Give yourself permission to move deeply into yourself here. Accessing any information that your body may hold. If you feel any tightness or tension, work to stretch that out. Breathe. Connect the palms of your hand in front of you and reach forward. Arching that back, reach forward. You want to get deep into those muscles. Move those arms around, stretching into your shoulders. Move with curiosity. If your body says, no, I don't want to do that, ask it why. And listen to what it says to you. Continue to stretch through your body. You want to try and feel every single cell in your body. Know and believe that you can. Focus on loosening your body with curiosity as it has lots of information it wants to share with you. This is your opportunity to connect and strengthening your conversation and communication with your body. Breathe nice and slow, nice and deep. Moving your body in ways that it asks you to. Try to listen. Your body says, hey, I want to move this way. Can you listen to it the way you ask it to listen to you? Okay. Be present with your breath again as we get ready to transition out of this song. Nice and slow, nice and deep. Breathe. Stay where you are, continue to breathe. Nice and slow, nice and deep. You all are welcome to come back. Take a look around the room. Take in what you see, any sights, any smells, any sounds that remain. Feel free to be seated when you are ready. It oftentimes takes a moment to come back, so take your time.
All right, thank you for that. So that's the first time I experienced that. Definitely smell apple pie. I don't know why I smell apple pie.
That
don't know
says
what
that
that
you have dropped into a way where that you were better connected to your senses. I'll tell you how the magic works. What are your thoughts about apple pie?
I love apple pie. Apple pie and vanilla ice cream. I think like that's the best dessert in the world.
Yeah.
Don't know why that came to my mind.
You went there and now you can smell it. This is literally how somatics work, right? It can bring all of those imprints into your real life. This is one of the reasons why people will do it when they go to manifest, because you can create the experience the same way you just created the scent. Yeah.
All I can say is wow. All right. Terance, what you feeling? What are your thoughts? Help me out here. I done got lost. I got lost in the sauce.
Don't come to me because you got lost. I've done some type of work like that before, so it's not like foreign to me or anything like that. I always think it's powerful work. I think is something that some people may shy away from for many reasons,
Absolutely.
but I do think it's powerful and it can be helpful to anybody. It was helpful to me, I'll tell you that. I love it.
Terance was over there about to snore.
I'm trying to tell you, boy, I was it. And again, the thing is, dude, that wasn't even like what? How many
It was
minutes?
just a couple minutes.
Couple minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, but and I got problems going to sleep, by the way, just so y'all know.
About put him to sleep
Oh.
in less than 3 minutes.
That was one of the questions that I did want to ask before we got off this episode. You had talked about people having trouble sleeping, only sleeping 4 hours, and needing to get that sleep to kind of to help to better understand life and just to get back to where they need to be. When you're talking about sleep, what are ways that what are things that people can do to better their sleep? I was speaking with one of my good friends, and he was talking about taking sleeping pills. I didn't say nothing in the moment, but I'm kind of against sleeping pills. But I didn't say nothing in the moment because he was sharing at that point. But what do you say to people who are not getting the sleep? They need to get that sleep, but they feel like they can't get that sleep without pills.
Words are powerful.
Okay.
Like just in hearing you say that, they are clearly programmed to not get the sleep. Right? So you can communicate to yourself that you are capable, that you are choosing, that you are desiring, that you can sleep. So having those conversations throughout the day. Same thing when you're going to bed, being mindful of like what associations do you have around that word sleep. Is it I can't sleep because I have to, right? You just told yourself you can't sleep. So why would you actually be able to lay down and go to sleep? Right? Your body listens, right? So if that's what you're telling your body, why would it tell you, okay, well, I'm going to sleep anyway, without screaming like we were talking about earlier with the Achilles tendon? Right? So how are you communicating to your body? How are you communicating to yourself? What do you believe? But also just really stretching before bed is very helpful as well. And setting the intention. I oftentimes will do rituals and routines when I'm working with a client who's having a difficult time sleeping. But I'm also looking at how are they spending their day. Right? So are they also overcommitting themselves? And this disconnect from their body is showing up in that way. And so, difficulty sleeping is a symptom of a lot of things. There's no singular fix. So there are a lot of different things you can do, but I always talk about it from the concept of the connection to the body. For instance, if you have coffee at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, how do you expect your body to respond? Right? So what are you doing throughout your day that communicates your desire to enjoy yourself when you lay down in that bed tonight?
Desire to enjoy yourself.
Yes.
Amen. All right. Any closing thoughts? Can you share with us some things that you got going on? This episode will come out again in June. But anything that you got going on besides the clinical book that you're going to write that you want to share with us?
So
And how can people get in contact with you as well?
yeah, so the information is on pointsoforigin.net. And yes, this particular episode is going to be airing in June, so they will not be able to hear it in time for the May events. Our events are updated on the pointsoforigin.net resources page. So those that will be available in June and July will be there. We've got a lot going on, to be honest with you. And so all that information will be on pointsoforigin.net. Right?
So,
we are on Facebook. I will be, launching a YouTube at some point. So we'll be on YouTube at some point as well.
by June.
I hear you. That's the plan for the summer.
Okay.
The plan for the summer is to get into the studio. There are lots of videos that I have online on our Points of Origin Facebook, as well as my Shameka Chanel page. There are some somatic videos in there. There are some videos of me maybe teaching the interns, but we have the clinical collective as well on the Points of Origin website. So in general, anything that they might be interested in, you can get to from that website.
And your website, they can get your book and all of that from there too.
Yeah, so
okay.
the books, the page is linked on both my Shameka Chanel Facebook page as well as the website. And not all of them are linked there, but the Embodied Self-Reclamation, you can definitely go into Amazon and type. They are all accessible on Amazon now.
Okay. Did I miss anything, Sherika, Terance?
No, I learned a lot in this particular episode. I realized I need to do a lot of self work myself. I was thinking about that mirror the entire time. Even with that exercise, I realized I have a lot of suppression that I need to work on. So I think it was very enlightening.
All right. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in to episode 108, The Body's Receipt. Today, it was great. This was great. Great eye-opening experience. So listen to your body.
Yes,
Listen
please
to your
listen
body.
Spend
If
some
you're
time.
not listening to your body, then go back, listen to the episode itself, and see. Try to pick up on the things that she's talking about. When I say try to pick up, if you're not able to pick it up, go to her website, find out the other stuff that she's putting down, and learn more, or reach out. And I'm pretty sure she can point you in the right direction. And she's very responsive. That's how she got onto the podcast. 'Cause all I did was reach out. She didn't know me from a can of paint, and she responded. Almost immediately.
Drove an hour out here to get here too.
Yeah, and drove an hour to get here. To get her some gas money. You know how high gas is right now. But thank you, Shameka, for coming and sharing your expertise, your thoughts, and your goals, your future plans with us. So we're wishing you much success in that area. Again, y'all can follow us on all platforms. Listen, subscribe to us on all major podcast platforms. Follow us on social media. Speaking with Gravity, and that's it. Unless Terance got something. You got something, Terance?
No, I'm good,
No.
man.
Okay, Terance is out.
Terry's still sleeping.
Yeah.
Till the next time. See y'all.